This is about defending democracy. This is no longer Democrats versus Republicans. What do you want your kids to believe in? There must be give and take.
This is White Flag with Joe Walsh.
Okay, so let me start like this with news from yesterday. Boy Scouts of America announced that they're officially changing their name to Scouting America. Scouting America. Boy Scouts of America, a 114-year-old organization, announcing yesterday that effective a year from now, actually February of 2025, they will change their name to Scouting America. Now, let me do this. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, the old Joe Walsh on my conservative talk radio show, here's what I would have sounded like then with this news. Oh my God! It's happening, right? This is such freaking bullshit. I couldn't have said bullshit on the radio. Man, we got to wake up. They're changing our country. They're all of this gender crap, and we're letting gay scouts in. The Boy Scouts of America is allowing gay scout leaders, and the Boy Scouts of America is allowing girls to join Boy Scouts of America. Man, this is the culture war, and they're trying to change everything that you and I believe in. There are boys, there are girls, there are men, there are women. Women marry men, men marry women. We're changing all of that. This is political correctness run amok. They're changing the world that we believe in. We got to stop it. This is terrible. I would have done a rant like that. The old Joe Walsh would have done a rant like that on my radio show, and I would have gone on Fox News 6, 7 years ago. The old Joe Walsh would have, and just railed against this nonsense, this drive by the left to just vanish, right? All differences and distinctions between boys and girls. This is the feminization of our boys. I would have gone on and on like that for hours. And I would have pissed off my listeners, my audience. I would have inflamed them. And by the way, that's what most people on Fox News did just yesterday with this issue. And the old Joe Walsh would have done that, because the old Joe Walsh was all about what right-wing media is still about today, and what too many left-wing media people are all about: inflaming their audience, getting their audience pissed off, angry, scared, fired up, like this country you love is changing every second and we can't stop it. And when I did stuff like that, shit like that, it worked. And the folks on Fox News who went off yesterday about this name change to the Boy Scouts of America, it'll work with their audience. It does work. That kind of outrage, that kind of divisive outrage, like not wanting to understand why the name is going to be changed, not giving a damn about why Boy Scouts of America is doing what they're doing, not caring about the other side, that works. You get and keep and grow an audience when all you do is yell at your base and try to scare the piss out of them. Again, you know my history and my deal. I don't do that anymore. I don't want to be divisive anymore. I help to divide this country. I'm all now about doing something to heal the divide. But importantly, the new Joe Walsh of the past few years still believes in the things I believe in, still every bit as passionate about what I believe in, but have opened my eyes to certain issues, like an issue like this. Look, the new Joe Walsh. If I had a radio show today, when the news came out yesterday, how would I react? I'd go on the air and I'd say, okay, it's happening. The Boy Scouts of America, 114 years old, is finally changing their name. Scouting America. They began to allow girls into Boy Scouts of America 6 years ago. More and more girls are coming into Boy Scouts of America. Boy Scouts of America is losing attendance. They declared bankruptcy a couple years ago. Maybe this is a way to expand the pool of young men and women who can become scouts in America. The new Joe Walsh would have said, well, I got to be honest, I'm kind of troubled by this a little bit. I want to hear about it. I want to learn about why the Boy Scouts of America did it, but it makes me sad that I mean, the Boy Scouts of America was an organization built and designed for boys to help teach boys to grow up into becoming responsible, involved, engaged, productive men. And I think it's important to have organizations and groups, private organizations and groups that help young boys and men, just like I believe it's important to have groups and organizations that help and cater to young girls and young women, because boys and girls are different. And let's explore this. It makes me sad. I'm not gonna throw stuff against the wall because of it. Call me, and I would have rattled off the number of my talk show, and let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation about this. The Boy Scouts of America, I remember it was 6 years ago when the Boy Scouts of America first let girls into Boy Scouts of America. That upset me. I get that again, all boys and girls should have the same opportunities, and all boys and girls should be able to become scouts. I just wonder how that works when you do want to keep certain focuses on helping boys become men and helping girls become women. But what I would have done is I would have opened it up and had a conversation. And I would have encouraged people to call into my show and help, who support this idea of the name change, and help educate me, help me understand. I wouldn't have said, like the old Joe Walsh would have, that this is the end of civilization as we know it. I would have simply said, I want to understand this. Kind of makes me sad. I see some benefits to it, I do, but it kind of makes me sad. Let's have a conversation. Nothing special or unique about me. I think the new Joe Walsh is where all of us ought to be. The old Joe Walsh, the old divisive Joe Walsh, is where most of America is now. And when it comes to any and every issue, I think we need to have conversations, not go off and get outraged, but have conversations so we understand both and all sides of an issue like that, like this. That's the only point I wanted to make today. Thanks for listening. Joe Walsh, White Flag. That's the podcast, White Flag with Joe Walsh. My email, joewalshwhiteflag@gmail.com. All one word, joewalshwhiteflag@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Hope you're having a good week. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow White Flag with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been White Flag with Joe Walsh.